Right, Seth, you've got one day left at Fort Sowers, and I thought I would sit down and, while you're my friend, I'm still older than you, and I'm old enough to give you some fatherly advice before you head out. You're about to start out on a brand new adventure, and, I imagine you have a lot of people that have been saying to you, um, you know, why are you leaving, and what are you going to do? But I think really the thing that it really boils down to is that a lot of people are probably asking themselves, how can you do it? Because you'll find that most people, when push comes to shove, are scared of doing the exact thing you're doing, and that's changing your life. A lot of people feel like that. Um, a lot of people feel like that this is where the road stops, that this is all that there's going to be, and so they resign themselves to the fact that they have to live the life that they've been given, and even if they're miserable, to continue on living it. And that's not the case. I mean, here I am in England, and funnily enough, even though I am in England, I don't fully realize that I am. And what I mean by that is that I know I'm in England, but it's not fully dawned on me yet exactly what I've done. And I've told Lynn this, and it probably won't hit me until I start working here, but it also could happen when we go to London and the first time I hear Big Ben ring. In other words, something will happen that it will make it dawn on me the gravity of what I've done. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not fully hit me yet. I've just kind of shown up here and started living and trying to do what the Romans do. And the thing is that it doesn't mean that I wasn't scared, and it doesn't mean that there were worries. But ultimately, in the end, you have a choice. You can either just give up and resign yourself to the situation you're in, or you can get up off your ass and do something about it, and have no fear in doing it. Now, while you may be scared, and while there may be worries, the last thing that I'm ever going to have in my life is fear. I will do what I need to do, and you're doing the same thing. And while you're not leaving Hot Springs, what you're doing is just as brave as what I've done. It doesn't matter if you hop over to another country or stay in the same town that you're staying. The point of the matter is that you're taking a big step of faith to change your life, and that is where the real courage comes in. So what you're doing, and what Terry's done, and what a lot of other people, funnily enough, did just before I left and after I left, is very brave. It's as brave as anything that I'm doing. So you should be quite proud of yourself. Now, one thing I will tell you in terms of advice is that when you do things like you're about to do, you need to always be prepared for the fact that you're going to go to plan B at some point. These things never go as you plan them to go. So, just anticipate that. And what you need to do is not be scared of that, but embrace it, because it is working out the way it should. A lot of people, they look at things and they think, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to do it, and then ultimately there's going to be the end product. And it doesn't work out that way, Seth. It never works out that way. What happens is that you sit here and, like me, you go, I've got a plan right here, this is what I'm going to do, and I know at that point it's going to start going downhill just like that. And it's not, downhill's not even the right word, it starts deviating. And when it deviates, that's going to be the measure of your intellect and also your strength, is that don't let that scare you whatsoever. You still continue with the plan. You keep your head down and you keep moving, and you embrace the fact that something has happened that's altered the plan. But you never know, Seth, that altering of the plan may be exactly what you're supposed to do. So, don't be scared of that. Also, too, I mean, that leads to the fact about the future. Now, what I'll tell you about the future, and it's a little strange, it's different than what most people look at it, is that, Seth, no matter where you wind up at the beginning of this or where this road is going to take you, you need to always hold on to the fact that the future is still playing itself out. Now, while that sounds like a cliche, it's very true. You need to understand that just because you're in a situation where you didn't expect to be, that does not mean that you weren't supposed to be there. You have to have faith that the future is plotting itself out as it should, because it always will work out. Now, the future may not be as you anticipated, and it may not come at the speed that you wish. And that's one of the other problems too, is that people give up because they go, right, I tried this and it didn't work, so I'm just going to give up because I didn't get what I want, and I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. You're not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to do it. We're going to keep going. So don't despair at how some things may happen, because you never know. They may have to play out like that to get you to the future that you want. You have to learn patience. A lot of people do not have patience. And what's one thing I've learned in all my travels is that sometimes you got to hold your breath and wait, because things are working as they're supposed to. And I can tell you another thing. When you try to circumvent that, everything goes wrong. Do not ever try to circumvent your future, because the moment you do, it just leads to nothing but disaster. And trust me, I'm speaking from experience on that more than once. So don't do it. But other than that, Seth, whatever you do, don't listen to people. The thing about people is that they tend to look at everything that's negative. And, we live in a world right now that's not good. Everybody's pessimistic. People go on about the Middle East or the economy or this or that. Don't listen to them. You keep moving along. You keep walking. Because no matter how bad things are, the world is, in the end, a very wonderful place. But it's how you choose it to be as to whether or not it's going to be wonderful. If you live in a dream world where you think, everything should be like the 1950s, and, things should be this way or that way, and this kind of Fox News dream world that, wholesome values thing that's going on, you're never going to be happy, because that's not the real world. If you're on the opposite side of that and you think everything is wrong and everything is ugly, you're never going to be happy. Seth, the best piece of advice that I can give you is that life is simply life, and it is what it is. And it's how you choose to look at it and how you choose to tackle it as to whether or not you're going to be happy. If your happiness starts inside you and your faith is strong in yourself, then you're going to be alright. Now, I don't know what your religious beliefs are, but as you know, I certainly do believe there's a God. And the last thing that I checked was that God told me not to fear anything on this earth, because in the end it doesn't really matter. And so I don't. I just keep going. And I worry about what He thinks and not what everybody else thinks. People can laugh at me. People can point a finger. They can do whatever they want. You know me, I don't give a damn. What I give a damn about is doing what I'm supposed to do, no matter how crazy it seems. And the one thing that I always do is I never have fear, because God told me there's nothing to fear on this earth. So I don't. And so, I'm very proud of you. And no matter what happens, I'm here, and I'm always your friend, and I've got your back through it all. And I'll be here to listen to it, and I'll be here to advise you and to cheer you on. But you just keep your feet moving, keep your head down, keep walking, don't stop, don't look back. Don't ever look back either. You know, always look forward, and just keep your own counsel. Love Lacey the best you can, and just be happy with your life no matter what happens, because that's all you can do. And anyway, on that note, I will get up now and go and post this, and hope everybody's well, and I'll talk to you later.